Good morning. I am so loving this Saturday morning connection, and I want to thank all of you for being here. And like I have said previously, for those of you that are new to this kind of work, or maybe you haven't had a reading with me, this Saturday morning Q&A will give you an idea of what it's like to have a reading. And you'll know that we don't have to sit face to face in person, that we can connect, this way. And, um, well, anyway, so we'll just go from there. What I'm going to do is read a prayer this morning. I'm going to read the Akashic prayer, and then I'll take a second to connect, and we'll see what messages the guides want to bring forth for all of us in general. And then I will hop to some of your questions today. So, and if I could encourage you, wherever you might be, whether you're watching this live or whether you're listening to this later on today, while I'm reading the prayer, if it feels right to you, go ahead and close your eyes and just let yourself relax. Feel yourself just being open to receive. And notice if anything pops in your mind, because it might be a little nudge from your guides to ask about something, or just, sometimes the way this all works, you can even have a thought of a question or something that you're curious about, and it might get answered without you even having to ask it. So, okay, y'all ready? I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Okay. So the guides would like to start out by saying thank you for coming. Thank you for being interested in this work and in their messages. They are grateful that you are here, and because you are here, because you are curious, because you are listening, and you have your questions somewhere out there or another, they're saying you are here to change the planet in a positive way, and they want to say thank you. So keeping yourself curious and keeping yourself seeking to learn more and understand more is really powerful, and it is what keeps you evolving and keeps the world evolving. And so when we reached within our own lives, they're saying to just reach that next highest and best version of ourselves. And it's not that we're seeking to become better because there's something wrong with us. We're seeking to become more of who we can be. And so we're always evolving, always expanding. And so for those of you that are, reaching for that next level of just who you are, an understanding of who you are, a bigger version of who you are. And again, remember, this is not bigger's better than smaller. This is just like we are unlimited beings here, and we are here to really experience the fullness of who we are and the gifts that we came in with. And so as we reach and learn and seek new understanding, we're doing that. And so when we do that, the whole world benefits from it. And so they want to say thank you. That was a long way to say thank you, but that's fun. And they also want to say that they would like to encourage you to be easy about things, to be easy about life. And being curious will help that. So when we can be curious about what's going on in our lives, then things don't feel as heavy. And they're saying being easy about life, being easy about things here is important because it helps us, well, they're saying it helps us move along this journey with more kindness and more love. And when we don't take things so seriously, and when we can look at our journeys and things that happen to us with a sense of curiosity, we take an edge off. And they said that's really important. And again, they want to remind us and remind you, your vibration affects the vibration of the whole. And so when you take the edge off of your journey just by having a new perspective on something, or a new understanding of something, or just being curious about something, instead of getting angry or upset, or feeling anxious or worried, and instead be curious, like, why is this happening? How am I changing from this? How am I learning from this? How am I growing from this? Then you take the edge off of that, and they said you lift your vibration, and it really does benefit the vibration of the whole. So just remember, whatever you're doing, being, thinking, that butterfly effect is real. It does affect those around you and subsequently the world. But they said, without going too deep and too heavy, they just want us to be lighter and easier about life here and not take it so seriously. And there are serious things here, and how we handle that reflects our wisdom and our growth. And they said, now this is a little deep. They are going deep. They said many of us, and many people that we run into, many people that are struggling or having a problem, and we all have problems. Contrast is the nature of our journeys here. And they're saying many people, though, who haven't really been doing a lot of personal work, emotional work, whatever, they said are looking at life from the eyes of the child within them. And often the child within them that was hurt or sad or had some event that is stuck with them. And so often when we're approaching life in our adult lives here, adult relationships, whether that's work, personal, if we're not conscious, we can be looking at life and reacting to life from a younger version of ourselves. And so it's important to be aware of that and make sure we, when challenged, come from the wise adult within us, knowing that we're safe and protected and supported, and that things are going to be all right. And they are telling me to tell you they highly recommend therapy, and they highly recommend working with people. And that could, whether it's a therapist, whether it's someone, an elder in a church, whether it's a life coach, but we all need support here, and it's always wonderful to get someone's perspective, and especially someone who's trained to look at the human relationship and how the psyche of our minds and how we operate here. So they very much encourage us to work with people and find someone and consider it like a mentor, a guide, a coach. And that's very important. And so a big thank you to all of you out there that are in that profession. That's big work that you're doing here this lifetime. Okay, let's see here. All right, well, I am going to hop to some questions here. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Okay. So we just have a few questions this morning, so we will be, well, I always think we might be short, simple, and quick, but you never know. So let's see here. All right, the first question's long, so I'm not going to read this whole question. However, This is this is from someone. I have to give you a little. I have to just. This is from someone I have known since I was probably maybe 5 years old. I think we met in kindergarten, and I just want to share that because doing this work that I do, it's what I have found. People that have known me for a long time, now seeing me in this light, doing this work that I do, it's just so different. And so it's just such an honor to me. I mean, not only to work with all of you, but it's really an honor to see someone I've known so long be open to reaching out and being able to see me in this work, doing, with this connection. And I'm just so grateful for that. So her question, and this is really good. So she lost her mother at age 2, so she never knew her mother. And her question is that at this point in her life, she's lost several people. There's several people that's passed, and she wants to know how she can sense her mother around and how she can tell a difference between who's around and who, out of all those that have passed. And you know what? That's a really good question. And a lot of people want to know that. How do I know who's here? And so let's see. Well, first of all, her mother is saying that she has been here the whole time. And this is really sweet. She's saying, that poem where it talks about, I think it's called Footprints, where it talks about the poem where God says the person is walking along the beach and he's always seen the two sets of footprints, I believe. But in his most challenging times, he's only seen one set of footprints, and so he wonders where God was. And God replies that he was carrying the person at that time. So her mother, your mother, hopefully you're listening, wants you to know that it wasn't God carrying you at those times, it was her carrying you at those times. So she has been with you this whole life of yours, not in the way you wanted, not in the way you dreamed. And she said she wants you to look at your life as extraordinary. You look at your life as a challenge because you didn't have a mother, and most people would. And it was a challenge, that is acknowledged. Yet she wants you to look at how different your life is because of that. And there's so many of us here that we do have mothers, and they're still here. Or some of us who had really lovely experiences with our mothers. And then there's people here that had challenging relationships with their mothers. And so we're all having our own experience here, and your guides and your mother want you to look at how extraordinary your experience was. You're like the only person you know that had this experience, and there's something really special about that because you came into this life with a built-in challenge, a built-in experience that set you on a different course and a different trajectory than everybody else. And it's like children coming in today, maybe with autism or Down syndrome. They are not here to be normal. They are here to have a different experience. And the same with you. You came in to have a very different experience and see what you could do with that life. And she is saying she is so wonderfully proud of you and what you've done with your life and the love that you've created in your relationships in your own family. And she said, you're born in family, that one you came in with, your siblings, don't worry about that so much because they're having their own experiences too. And she said, be easy about that also, and really look at the love you've created, the joyful times you have had, and the family that you have raised. And she said, having her physical absence in your life has made you a really wonderful mother. And you can feel lucky that you didn't get shaped or influenced in a way from a mother or a parent that might have, been hard for you. She said, in your mind, she is always idealized, and you have loving, fond thoughts of her. And that's a really beautiful thing. Had she been here and had she lived life with you, it might not have turned out so wonderful in the thoughts you hold of her. She is saying she, with as many children in your family, she would have been pressed then, and she might not have been as loving because there was just so much to take care of. So much. And you might have ended up feeling neglected or rejected. And you don't have that. So think in that way. Think of the blessings. Mhm. And think of the kind of person who you are today because you had this experience. Now, to answer your question, how do you know she's around? She is telling me, she said, the energy that she brings to you is very loving, very kind, very soft, very sweet, very gentle, everything you would want, a mother to represent. She is saying that she brings an aroma of flowers with her, and I want to say it's a really strong flower, like gardenia. Mm-hmm. Let me see here. And she said you can tell it's her because you feel like you just want to take a pause and a breath, and you just feel, uh, she is saying, you just feel like everything's going to be okay. Like the guides were saying, it really is going to be okay. But she's saying you just get this moment and this feeling that you're safe and that you're good and things are going to work out. And she's bringing that energy to you. So to answer the question, how do you know out of all the spirits around you, and this is for all of us, like who is it? Is it my grandfather? Is it my dad? Is it, who? And rule of thumb, they're saying, is if you're feeling someone's around, or you see that book on the shelf moved, or somebody, left the lights on in the kitchen when you turned them off, or somebody's turning the TV on. So whoever you think of, whoever pops in your mind, if your dad, say, watched a lot of TV and you go turn the TV off and next thing you know it's on, it's probably your dad. But what the guides are saying is whoever you think of, whoever pops in your mind, that's who it is. And sometimes it is a bunch of them, and you just know the whole gang's there and just acknowledge all of them. That's sweet. Okay, let's see what else here. Okay. All right, here's a question. So with this big move that we just had and some changes in my work, I'm feeling a bit lost and without purpose. So basically, I guess my question is, what's my purpose here? And that's as specific as I can get because I just feel out of it. Well, we have all been there, haven't we? So let's see what your guides have to say. Well, this is funny. Now, they like this question, and and they don't like this question. They're saying, and they're saying that with jest. When people ask, what's my purpose here? And that question gets asked so often. And they like this question because they love to get to address it. Because almost every single human on the planet has this question. So they want to thank you for asking it. And most of us are down here having our lives wondering, what am I doing here? What's my purpose here? I feel like I should be doing something, like this isn't it. I'm feeling restless, bored. And they're saying that that is the beginning of you really looking at your life and your journey, and that's a very important step because you really are starting to assess um, your gifts and your talents and your dreams and your desires. And it's in this place that you start to be, you question your purpose, that you really are looking at expanding. Like, I know there's more here, I can do more, I want to be more, but you're not quite feeling that yet, but you're at the beginning of that. So one thing they want to say, if you're alive here today, then that is your purpose. So your purpose is your life, and your purpose is, what are you doing with your life? And it's not like you have to have this big noble um, you know, it, drive here, and you have to serve the world or other people or do good. It's not what that's about. What it's about is, what are you doing with your life, and what are you doing that feels authentic to you, that feels inspiring and motivating and rich. That's what it's about. Because again, when you are living here authentically and you're honoring what you want to do, there's that vibration, it's going up, and so all the world benefits. And that's really what they want you to think about. How can you live here in the most authentic way? So hang on here, let's see here. These are big questions today, and they are saying that all of us here, we all humans here, want freedom. We want freedom to be here how we want to be here. And so we're trying to navigate a life in a world where, well, we have to work. We need money to get around. And so we feel like we're losing a little bit of our freedom in that. And they said that they would have you change your perspective there and realize that that is part of the design that happened here, because it makes you look for your talents and gifts, and it makes you discover what way you want to be here. So let me see here if they'll give me something for you. Okay, for you specifically, for you who asked this question, they would like for you to get out of the habit of fixing and doing. Like, you have to do something all the time and take care of something all the time. And they want you to continue, because they've seen you do this many, 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 many times. They want you to continue to appreciate where you are, what you've created, and be out on your land and be out walking, be with your animals, be in your relationship, and appreciate what you have done with your life, how much you've learned, how much you know. And they are saying, look within you at the resources that you've and skills that you've developed. Well, I'm just going to tell you, they are telling me that you are wildly talented in your personal and your professional life. And it would be really lovely for you to blend the two a little bit more together. And they're showing you doing a podcast, like interviewing people. Now, that could be people well, I don't know. They're just saying, personally, you get along great with people. You do really well with people, and you're really funny. And they are saying you would have a really awesome podcast. Let me see here. They're just showing you as interviewing people. So I'm not sure what that's about, but I would start thinking about it. You have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and you could bring humor to some of the work that you do. And they're talking about, again, it doesn't have to be anything deep or heavy, but just about life, how we look at life, and fresh perspectives on life and the stuff we all deal with. So they said you've had plenty to deal with in life, and that is your subject material. And so you'll be grateful you had all these things to deal with in life, because that's going to help you in your interviews and your podcast. Huh. Well, how about that? All right. Well, that's kind of cool. Okay, let's see. Okay, question. Let's see here. What is my soul contract for this lifetime with my son's children? A boy age 6 and a girl age 2. And did I have a connection with either or both of them in a previous incarnation? Ooh, I love that question. Okay. Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this question too. And the guides are saying this is really helpful to so many of us, and especially my friend who lost her mother at age 2. She needs to know that's just this one lifetime, and that they've had many other ones together, and will again. So for you, what they're saying is you were actually their mother in a previous lifetime. And that's why this connection feels so um, powerful and intense. And they're saying the love there you have for your grandchildren is almost unexplainable in its strength and its power. And so they're so appreciative that you recognize the connection runs deeper and bigger, and that you want to explore it. But they are saying you were their mother in a previous lifetime, and what you decided this time. Oh my gosh, I love this stuff, how this all works. They said, as a mother, when uh, that relationship with mother child is huge, and as a mother having children, a mother is going through her own life, her own journey, and so sometimes it's hard to be a mom. It's big work to be a mom, and you can't always be 100% available for your children, because you know what? You got your own stuff, and sometimes you're short with your child, or you're not as available. Sometimes there's a need. Sometimes a lot of single mom, and maybe not even single mom, but you're working, and so you're not even home with your children like you want to be. So anyway, what they're saying is that in a previous lifetime you were their mother, and so you had that mother-child direct experience with them. And they're telling me that it was a very working life for you, and so you were very busy, and you were looks like your family was together. You did have a husband in that lifetime, and you had your children in that lifetime, but it also looks like times were hard, and that you were both working. Now, you were working out of the home, and it looks like you were, um, they're saying you were a wonderful seamstress, and that you would sew and repair and make and clothes for people. And they said, so you had this business in your home, but you were so busy, and you were always repairing clothes, making clothes for others to help keep your family afloat. It looks like your husband was a traveling salesperson, so was often on the road and home on the weekends. Um, then the weekends they're showing were filled with jarring and canning and going to almost like farmers markets, to that whatever that version at that time, to sell your wares. And so it was just very busy, very busy, very busy. And even though you loved your children so dearly and deeply, and that's why you were working so hard, because you wanted them to have a good life, you were very stretched thin. And so this lifetime, you chose to be their grandmother and love them in a very different way, where there was no interference as far as the commitments that you had to make in life. And you can be so very available to them in a very different way. And I mean, when you think about it, who doesn't love their grandparents? It's like, gosh, grandparents are the best. They don't have to put all the rules and regulations and structure um, that parents do. So it's like you really removed all that from your experience with them this lifetime. And, with grandparents, it's like you really can feel what unconditional love feels like. And so a shout out to all of you grandparents out there. Is they Grandparents love unconditionally, and that is such a wonderful experience, and that's really what you wanted to have with them this lifetime. Mm. And so, yes, you're meant to be an influence for them, and you're really meant to flow that unconditional love to them. Hmm. So think about it. Relationship with your grandparents or your grandchildren, very different relationship than with your parents or your child. And that's what they're talking about. Hmm. That's a lovely question. I love that. Okay, let me see here. Now, if y'all were on our first call, and actually, I don't even know if I got that one recorded, but um, someone had asked about the Moundville stolen artifacts over in, I think it's the Birmingham Tuscaloosa way. Mm-hmm. So let's just see if there's any other information that might show up around that. Okay. Well, let me see here. I am hearing to tell you that things are getting close. They're getting closer than they ever have. And they are showing me. Oh my gosh, this is so wild. So, the story of these artifacts being found, being unearthed, coming up, being discovered, um, they're saying, I was hearing a noise. They are saying that the journey of them being stolen is almost exactly like them being rediscovered. So these artifacts are almost like repeating their journey. I don't know if that makes quite sense, but what they're saying is, these artifacts were loved and used, they were created, and then of course, they go into the earth, whatever happened to them on their journey, and then they were discovered and found value again, and then of course they go stolen, which is almost like going back into the earth and to be rediscovered again. And so what they're saying, that you have to know, these artifacts are having their own little journey of being hidden and discovered, being hidden and discovered, and it's created some really intriguing experiences for people. Point being, though, the artifacts are on a journey of discovery, and they will be found again, and this time is getting close. And I don't know if I can get a timeline on it, but they are saying, know that the artifacts are meant to be unearthed again. Hang on here. Let me just see if they will get me. I don't know what I'm getting. There's something with the railroad they're showing me. I don't know if it's a storage facility near a railroad, or a warehouse someone owns near a railroad. Looks like an industrial place. So if there's a building that belongs to a philanthropic family, can be traced to any member in that family. Looks like is near a railroad. It's in an industrial setting. Mm, that's where they're showing. So hopefully that'll be helpful. I don't know. Um, but this is so fascinating. But no, I think the most exciting thing is know that the artifacts are on their own journey and that they will be unearthed again. and you will get to witness it. You will get to, they're showing them being on display again, and a real celebration of their work, their art, and the story in and of itself. I mean, this story could kind of like be an Indiana Jones movie, like they could make a movie out of it, a documentary out of it, if they haven't already. But it looks like that's all on tap. Interesting. But they said you will be very much alive and like a part of it. So it's getting close, they said. I love it. Okay, let's see here. Anything else we have today? No. Okay. Let me see here. Anybody here? You got anything? All right. Let me look here. Okay. Well, you guys, I think we are going to wrap up for today. Now, I am going to draw our little angel cards. Here. Let's see. What do we get today? Oh, wow. Okay. So funny. Well, compassion. Our angel compassion. And, of course, this is what we were talking about, expansiveness. Isn't that fun? We really are here to expand into that next highest and best version of ourselves. And we can look at our lives with curiosity. Why did this happen to me? Without feeling victim, but just be curious. And how did this shape me into who I became today? Then we are expanding. And just to know, relationships that we're having here today, we've had in other lifetimes and will have in future lifetimes. And they're always changing. So we don't need to get so attached how things are working out or not working out this time. And again, we just have to understand how it is influencing us and how we're choosing to be because of it. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful fall day. It is chilly here, and I'm loving it. So refreshing to have the windows open and that crisp, cool air. And again, I just want to thank you for joining me, and I will see you next Saturday. Take care.